Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of our video series where we examine the answers to the just concluded 2023 WAEC English Language Paper 1. Today we want to consider the 5th section of the paper, which covers question 41 to question 70. And this section usually comes with the instruction best completes. Alright? So, one thing I want us to quickly remind ourselves before we go into this discussion today is that under this section, okay, WAEC usually brings 30 questions. Now, all of those questions are going to be coming from a series of topics under grammar. So if you are going to do very well in this section, you must understand that those questions are coming, okay, from a series of topics like part of speech. You're going to be asked questions on pronouns, types of pronouns and use of pronouns, subject and objects. You're going to be asked questions on cases, intensifiers, how to use adjectives, complex adjectives, how to arrange adjectives, okay? When you have more than one adjective, modifying a single noun, how to arrange them and bring out their structures. And then you must understand things surrounding the sentence and the function of the sentence, all right? Things like type of sentences, question types, and then reported speech, polar questions, and how to handle problems around polar questions. And then things like concord, the types of concord, and how to appropriate concord in lessons of structure, and how to pick your answers and fill in the gap, and also things like conditionals and so on. Okay, so there are so many. Now, this is a golden rule that will guide you in this section. Any question you encounter in this section, you first of all have to try as much as possible to understand the topic that the question is coming from. That is one thing that you must bear in your mind. So, that said, let's take on the 30 questions, okay, that are in this section. Number 41. The fisherman said he sighted a dash of fish in the river. A, park. B, swam. C, shoal. D, colony. Right. This topic, for example, is coming from nouns. Alright? That is things surrounding collective nouns and so on. So, you have something like dash of fish. Is it park of fish, swam of fish, shoal of fish, or colony of fish? There is only one word here that can be used as a collective noun for fish, and that word is shoal. When you talk about the collective nouns for fish, there are two words that you can usually have. You can have things like shoal of fish, or you have school of fish. Alright? Shoal of fish means different type of what? Fishes in the river, while school of fish refers to fish of the same species in the river or wherever you find them. When I talk about things like pack of fish, probably the fish that have been killed and packed together. We talk about swam. The word swam cannot be used with fish. Swam can be used with bees. You can talk about swarm of bees and so on. Colony doesn't go with fish. So you have shoal of fish. Number 42. The principal corrected no one else but dash. A, I, B, me, C, she, D, myself. This question is a little bit tricky, but if you want to get it correctly, just underline, or rather, just mark this part out and also this part. Just things like the principal corrected no one else but. So forget about that part. Just read it as the principal corrected dash. Are you going to say the principal corrected I or the principal corrected me? The principal corrected me. So B is the correct answer to this question. Question 43. The thug was dash murder. A, sued with murder. B, charged with murder. C, convicted for murder. D. Charged for mother. The correct answer here is charged with mother. Alright, so when you talk about sued with, this option cannot work because when you use the word sued for, you cannot have anything like sued with. Convicted for is also wrong because this one can only be things like convicted of. Then you have things like charged for. We don't say charged for, so the correct thing is charged with. So if you look at this problem, it's coming from prepositional collocation. That's the use of verb and a preposition. The only collocation that is well arranged here is B. Question 44. Asoporo office dash is located in Ibadan. A. Headquarters. B. Headquarters. C. Headquarters. D. Headquarters. Good. This is a problem coming from parts of speech, nouns precisely. Now, anytime you have headquarters, it always takes S. So the correct answer is C. So we have headquarters. There's nothing like headquarter. The word does not exist in this form. Then headquarters with a possessive case is not what you're talking about here. The context is not talking about headquarter having something that belongs to it. So B and D will go. So the correct answer is C. Question 45. John should be through with his work. Thus, A. Isn't it? B. Shouldn't he? C. Can't he? D. Didn't he? So this is a problem coming from tag. That's question tag. So when you want to handle question tag, just go to the beginning of the question, the context, and locate the verb that is used in it. In this case, the verb is should. So if the verb is positive, you add not to it to negate it. But if it's negative, you remove the not to make it positive. But in this case, it's positive. So just add not to it. And this one will now give you shouldn't. Now give you shouldn't. And then you now come back to the subject of the sentence. But we don't use nouns. All nouns are changed to what? Pronouns. John, in this case, is going to give you he. So you will have shouldn't he. So correct answer is B. Question 46. This is the man that I said told me the interesting story. A. Who. B. Whom. C. Whose. D. Which. The correct answer here is B. Whom. The reason is that this expression, the question, is a reported speech. This is the man that I said. So it's like someone is telling another person what had been said, okay, previously. That makes it a reported speech. Which cannot go here because you don't use which for people. But who, whom, and whose can be used for people. Who can only be used in the what subject position, that is in the subjective case. Alright, and this is not the subjective case. Alright, you can also use this when you are asking a question. Whose can only be used in possessive case. So the one that will suit the case of reporting a speech is whom. So correct answer is B. Question 47. The accused forgot dash. A. Why the police said. B. That the police said. C. When the police said. D. What the police said. This problem is coming from the use of noun phrases and noun clauses. Alright? So if you look at the context very well, it talks about things like the accused forgot something. The accused forgot it. So what was it that the accused forgot? The accused forgot it. So when you put it in this space, the expression will still make sense. The accused forgot it. So this it must be a noun clause. Why the police said it's not a noun clause. Alright, the correct answer here is what the police said. Because when an expression begins with why, that's not questions on reason, so it's adverbial clause. And when an expression begins with that, it's adjectival clause. When an expression begins with when, it's adverbial clause of time. So the only noun clause here is D, which begins with what? What the police said. So the accused forgot what the police said. D is the correct answer. 48. The officer dash is my brother. A. On uniform, with uniform, in uniform. D. In uniform dress. So the correct way to use uniform is in uniform. So the correct answer here is C. Question 49. The footballers have been practicing dash. A. In the stadium hard all morning. B. Hard in the stadium all morning. C. All morning hard in the stadium. D. All morning in the stadium hard. Now this problem is testing students on how to use adverbs, and the adverb that is being tested here is hard, hard, hard. So I'd like you to be very careful when you're handling a problem like this. If you look at the way the structure is, that's the context of the question. See, the footballer have been practicing dash. The correct answer is hard in the stadium all morning. The footballers have been practicing hard in the stadium all morning. Now, this is the reason. The footballers have been practicing. This is a verb. So, the word here, so the word that we're going to be very careful about in all of these arrangements is the word hard. So, where is hard going to be located in all of this construction? So, it's going to be in the stadium hard or hard in the stadium and all of that. So, the correct answer is B, because practicing is being modified by hard. So, hard has to come after practicing. That is how to use hard as an adverb. This is not a construct where hard is required to be used as an adjective. The only case where hard can be used as an adjective in an expression is when it is attributive. Alright? So if you have a word like hard practicing, hard practicing. Now this is attributive case. Attributive case. Hard practicing is attributive case. But if you turn it around and say practicing hard, if you turn it around and say practicing hard, then this word is no longer an adjective. It is now an adverb. Okay? But in this case, it is what? An adjective. So that's what you must note here. So since the construction is the footballers have been practicing, okay, a verb has already been used. So hard is going to be used as an adverb only in this construction. And if hard must be used as an adverb, it will come after the verb, immediately after the verb. So practicing hard, take note, it will come immediately after the verb. So it will not come after some other construction like in the stadium all morning. No, it's going to come immediately. Practicing hard to determine or to describe how the practicing has been taking place. So that's why B is the correct answer. Question number 50. James appears dash wiser than his friends. The correct answer here is C, much. Now this is the reason. The word here, wiser, is an adjective. So this is a problem that is testing students on what? Adjectives. Wiser is a comparative adjective. Like you have wise, you have things like wise, then you can have what? Wiser, and then you can have what? Wisest. Alright, so when you have a comparative adjective, you don't use more with it. In other words, comparative adjectives do not agree with more. Okay? Now, you are going to have things like more wiser, no. Most wiser, no. This can only be used with 3 or more things as superlative case. And then you are going to have much more wiser. Much is good here, but more is again coming out towards to modify wiser. This option again will not go. So the correct answer is C. That is, James appears much wiser than his friends. Question 51. Professor John is the leader of the dash committee to review the new book. A. 50 men, 50 mans, 50 men, 50 mens. This is a problem that is coming from compound nouns. And all the words that are arranged here are modified committee. Now, in a compound noun, all the words that are used to modify the head noun are always hyphenated. But the head noun itself is not hyphenated. And none of those words that are being used to modify the head noun can be made possessive or made plural. In that case, the correct answer is what? A. Because here, one of the words being used to modify committee is made possessive is wrong. And here, one of the words is made plural is wrong. And here again, double errors, as one of the words is made possessive and made plural, so error as well. So all the words that will be used to modify the head noun must be joined by a hyphen, and they must not, none of them must be made plural or made possessive. So because of that, A is the correct answer. Question 52. That world's famous athlete is guilty. That way you look at it. A, whichever way you look at it. B, however way you look at it. C, whatever way you look at it. D, whenever way you look at it. The correct answer is A, whichever way you look at it. Question 53. We were all afraid when the alarm dash. A, rang up. B, went off. C, died off. D, ran off. This is a problem that is testing you on prepositional collocation and, if you like, phrasal verbs. Alright, so the correct answer to this question is B, went off. Many students might be tempted to pick option A, which is rang up. Take note that to ring up only means to put a phone call across to someone. And the past tense of ring up is rang up, that is to call someone on the phone. Died off is when something has stopped to function, while ran off is when something runs away. Now 54. The material used for sewing my dress is dash to yours. A, more superior. B, most superior. C, superior. D, very superior. The correct answer here is superior. The reason is that the word superior is a comparative adjective. It's already showing a comparison between two things. So it does not take more or most or very. No, it stands alone in a comparative case. But if you want to use it in second degree comparative, you can now have something like much superior. This is second degree comparative, although that is another topic altogether. But as far as this question is concerned, the correct answer is C, because in comparative case doesn't take more, most, or very. It will stand alone. It's already comparing the two materials used for what? The two dresses. So that is that on that. Question 55. The chairman wasn't privy dash the information. A, to, B, at, C, with, D, on. The correct answer to this question is A. Privy to information is a figurative expression. In other words, a collocation. Anytime privy is used, then it collocates with to, and it means to have a piece of information. Question 56. We were lucky your driver didn't die in the accident. Dash. A, isn't it? B, weren't we? C, didn't we? D, did we? Now, this is the second time we have had a problem on tag. Alright, when you are treating tag, just go to the verb in the expression and make it negative is positive. So where is positive here? You just add not to it. In this case, you are going to have weren't. Then you treat it or take it back to the subject of the sentence, the nominative, and you have we. So weren't we? Correct answer is B. Question 57. The dash were decorated with flowers. A, girls' shoes. B, girls' shoes, girls' shoes, and girls' shoes. Alright, this is a test of possessive nouns. Alright, and the noun that we are considering here is plural. We're considering a noun in its plural form, and that is girls. So to make a plural noun possessive, the apostrophe has to come after the X. So the correct answer is B, girls' shoes. Girls' shoes is wrong because there must be apostrophe. Girls' shoes is wrong because there can be no apostrophe on the shoes. And then girls' shoes is wrong. The apostrophe will belong to the girls, not shoes. So D is wrong. So the correct answer is B. 58. Before the lecturer entered the hall, we dashed the board. A, clean the board. B, have cleaned the board. C, are cleaning. D, had cleaned. Alright, so this one is a test of tenses. And the type of tense that is being tested here is past perfect tense. So when you have a past perfect tense, it speaks of an action that has been concluded successfully and ended in the past. Alright, it doesn't have a result in the present. It is only present perfect tense that has a result in the present. I mean, it's present perfect tense that are going to use have. Okay, but we cannot say have because it says before the lecturer entered. So the event took place before the lecturer entered. So it's no longer having the result in the present. Then it cannot be present perfect. B will go. What about option A? Clean the board. Clean the board cannot go because it is a verb in its simple present form. It speaks of an action that is in the present. But this expression is talking about an action that had taken place. In other words, an action that took place before the lecturer entered the class. So clean will go. And then we are now considering cleaning and had cleaned. The correct answer is had cleaned. Cleaning is not correct because it happened before the lecturer entered. So the event had passed and ended successfully in the past. So the correct answer is had cleaned. And the name of this tense is past perfect tense. Question 59. Dash the hours of 9 and 10. The surgeon completed the operation. A. Before. B. Between. C. In. D. Upon. The correct answer to this question is between, because it's talking about 2 hours here, 10, 9 and 10. Okay, so between the hours of 9 and 10. It cannot be before the hour of 9 and 10, no, or in the hours of 9 and 10, or upon the hour of 9 and 10. So it's between the hours of 9 and 10. Between is the appropriate preposition that shows a relationship between two nouns, and the nouns in this question are 9 and 10. Right. Question 60. Mother bought dash at the fair. A. An expensive red Japanese car. B. A Japanese red expensive car. C. An expensive Japanese red car. D. A red expensive Japanese car. This one is a problem on complex adjective. In other words, arrangement of adjectives. There's a formula I would like to quickly teach you here, and the formula is DEVSCON. Determinant, evaluation, value, size, shape, quality, color, composition, origin, and material. So whenever you have so many adjectives used together, okay, to modify a noun, that is the head noun, take note that the material, that is the nominative, the head noun, must come last. So in all of this option, we have car, car, and car. Okay, that agrees with our M here. So you now come to, what is it that must follow car now? Origin. Okay, origin. So it talks about color, composition, and origin and material. So where is the car coming from? The car is a Japanese car. This is correct. Expensive car? No. Japanese red car, reds. No, red cannot be next to car. Remember, color, composition, origin. So red cannot be next to car. So option C will go. A has gone. Okay, what did we say? All right, B has gone already. Okay, then you have Japanese car. So this one agrees with origin and material. Then the next one is what? Color. What's the color of the car? Alright, so color must be next to origin. So here you have red Japanese, correct. So the correct answer to this question is what? A. Correct answer to the question is A. From here, you can just use these 3 elements to get the question. That's color, origin, and material. Material must be last car. Origin must be next to material, Japanese car. Okay, then color must be next to origin, red Japanese car. So an expensive red Japanese car is the correct answer. D will go as well. A red expensive Japanese car, okay, cannot go. So A is the correct answer. Question 61. The duty of our teacher is to give instructions. Dash is to obey. A. Ours. B. Ours. C. Our. D. Ours. Now, this is a test of possessive pronoun, okay? That is the form of this pronoun that can describe what belongs to us. So you can have we, then you have what? Us. And whatever belongs to us is what? Ours. Now, what's the correct form of that word? Ours. The correct form of the word is A. Ours. It doesn't take apostrophe. There's no word like this in English, as a matter of fact. Then our is a pronominal. This is the adjectival form. You can say our house, our describing house. Then there's no word like this in English as well. So the correct answer to this question is A. Question 62. The teacher has dash with the principal. A. Falling apart. B. Falling off. C. Falling out. D. Falling down. Good. Now, this is a test of prepositional collocation. In other words, phrasal verbs. Alright? That is the use of a verb together with a preposition to say something. Now, when you look at falling apart, this one means for something to break. The principal wasn't molded with what the teacher that should break apart. The correct answer to this question is falling out. Okay? Falling out means they are no longer in good terms. What about falling off? For something to drop down from a height. What about falling down? Falling down is for something to fall. Question 63. A meeting was called, dash the instance of the chairman. A. By, B. On, C. At, D. For. The correct answer to this question is at. We are going to use this word instance. It means with the consent, but the word will attract the preposition at. So you have at the instance. It's not by the instance or on the instance or for the instance, but at the instance. Question 64. Business is poor these days, dash workers are on strike. A. Whereas. B. So that. C. No matter. D. Because. The correct answer is because. It's simply talking about the construction of sentence. Alright? That is, you have the main clause and then the subordinate clause. Business is poor this day is the main clause. Then because workers are on strike is the subordinate clause, which is an adverbial clause. Question 65. The test seemed that simple that we would all pass. A. So. B. Very. C. To. D. Over. The correct answer is so simple. Okay, this is a test of adjective. In other words, intensifiers. That is the correct form of intensifier that can be used with the word simple. Alright? But you look at the sentence very well. If it has that, then it cannot be very or to or over. It's going to be so. So we normally have so, collocator, that. So any expression that has a that, okay, we usually attract towards so. So you say, the test seemed so simple that we would all pass. Question 66. I think I can now solve the problem. Essien, dash. A. Neither can I. B. So can I. C. So do I. D. Either do I. The correct answer to this question is C. So do I. The verb that we are considering this expression is think. It's not can. So if Tayo is saying I think, then Essien would say I do also think. So the correct answer is so do I. It's not neither can I or so can I or either can I. C is the correct answer. Question 67. That scientist has discovered a cure for cancer. A. Young brilliant Nigerian. B. Nigerian brilliant young. C. Young Nigerian brilliant. D. Brilliant young Nigerian. Great. This is the second time we have come across a problem on complex adjectives. In other words, arrangement of adjectives. So, whenever you have a problem on complex adjectives, always remember the formula DEFSCON. DEFSCON is determinant, evaluation, value, size, shape, quality, color, composition, origin, and material. Alright, so in the arrangement of adjective, the noun, okay, the head noun must always be last. So what are they talking about here? They are talking about a scientist. Fortunately or unfortunately, the head noun is not part of the arrangement. Alright, so you have Nigerian scientist, and we go. We're no longer going to be talking about the head noun. So the next thing that should follow is going to be origin. Where is the scientist from? The scientist is from Nigeria. So we are going to have among the options, Nigerian should be last. So young, brilliant Nigerian. This is correct. Suspect this. You have a brilliant young, no. Okay, because origin must be next to the scientist, Nigerian scientist. So you cannot say young scientist, no. Then the next one says brilliant scientist, no. Origin must be next. Therefore, C will go. What about D? You have young Nigerian. So Nigerian is next to the scientist. So the last in our formula must be origin, which is Nigerian. So you have A or D. Now between A and D, which one are we going to consider? The next one is what? The composition. This one does not apply to humans. What about color? Whether it's dark in complexion or fair is not part of this problem. So the next one is quality. So here we say that composition and color do not apply to this question. Composition and color do not apply to this question. Alright? So after taking origin, the next one that should follow origin must be quality. So what is the quality of the word? The scientist. The scientist is brilliant. Alright? So you have brilliant Nigerian. Suspect this. What about this? Young Nigerian. So at the end of the day, you are going to have the young, brilliant Nigerian scientist, not the brilliant young Nigerian scientist. No. So the young, brilliant Nigerian scientist. A is the correct answer. Question 68. The couple dashed their first child when I entered college. A. We're not having. B. Hadn't had. C. Haven't had. D. Hasn't had. Good. This is a test of tenses. And this is the second time as well that we have come across a problem on tenses in this year's exams. Okay? Now, what type of tense are they talking about here? He said the couple dashed their first child when I entered the university. Okay? This is something that has what? Passed. This event has passed. But does it still have a result in the present? If it still has a result in the present, then you are going to say it is present perfect. But if it doesn't have a result in the present anymore, then you are going to say it is past perfect. And if it has a result in the present, such that the subject is what? Plural, then you take haven't. If it has a result in the present, such that the subject is singular, then you take hasn't. But this expression doesn't have a result in the present. It has all passed because it says, or rather, the person speaking here says, the couple dashed their first child when I entered the university. When you look at this word, you discover that the person has long entered the university. So this event has passed and it's settled. Alright, so it's not the case of present perfect where we're going to take haven't or hasn't. So the correct answer to this question is hadn't had. That's the correct answer. The couple hadn't had their first child when I entered the university. And not things like we're not having. No, this one does not collocate. This is past continuous tense. So this is not the case. Question 69. The firefighters worked hard to dash the inferno. A. Put off. B. Put out. C. Put away. D. Put by. The correct answer to this question is B. Inferno means a huge fire. And if you talk about stopping the fire, then you use the prepositional phrase put out. Generally, this problem is a test of prepositional phrase. Put off means to postpone something, and that is not what this expression is talking about. Put away is to keep aside, and that is not what the expression is talking about. And put by is not what the expression is talking about. So, to extinguish a huge fire, you use the prepositional phrase put out. Question 70. Those novels are interesting. I wonder if you can get me dash. A. Others such many. B. Many such others. C. Many others such. D. Such many others. Right. This is a problem on arrangement of what? Adjectives as well. But in this case, adjectival phrases together with noun phrases. So, whenever you have such an expression, it usually takes a kind of arrangement like such plus noun phrase together with so, then plus adjective phrase. So whenever you have such an expression, the arrangement will go as such plus noun phrase and so and plus what? Adjective phrase. But in our arrangement here, it's a very short arrangement so that there is no adjective phrase in it. So you're going to locate the option which starts with such, other such, no, many such, no, many others, no. So the only option that starts with such is what? Such, many others. And if you follow this formula, you are going to have such, many others is a noun phrase, and there's no adjective phrase in the expression. So those novels are interesting. I wonder if you can get me such, many others. So the correct answer is D. So that is that on the fifth section of the just concluded 2023 WAEC English Language Examination. With this, we are concluding our series of 5 videos on paper 1 here. Kindly join me in my next video where I shall be starting a new series on paper 3 of the just concluded 2023 WAEC English Language Examination.